G'day, battlers, and today we're going to be jumping in for the first sort of custom meta in the Go Battle League of 2022, and that is going to be the Sinnoh Cup. Now, the Sinnoh Cup is a really easy one to understand. It's just Pokemon from the Sinnoh region in Great League 1500 and below, and the only other thing we need to learn is that it is going to be from January 10th through to January 24th. So about a week from now, and that'll run for about 2 weeks. So with all of that said, we can really just jump straight into it because again, it is a really easy one to understand. And if you've heard that the Sinnoh Cup is just going to be a Bastiodon meta, well, yeah, it's going to be a Bastiodon meta, but let's take a look. So here we go. That's the thumbnail, but we've got 3 groups on the screen. It's pretty simple. It's sort of like a triangle meta, even though I've drawn an oval. It is just 3 groups, and they sort of just go around in a circle. Now, we have Bastiodon in the bottom right-hand corner with the Abomasnow and the Munchlax. In the top, we have the anti-Bastiodons. So that is, we've got fighting types in Toxicroak and Lucario. We've also got Gallade, who has some close combat fighting damage as a charge move, also has Leaf Blade. And then we've got Gastrodon, who has that Mud Slap, who is really able to hurt that Steel Rock typing on the Bastiodon. And then in the bottom left hand of the graphic, we have the anti-Bastiodons. So it's essentially protecting Bastiodon from Bastiodon's counters, which we've got that Frostlass, we've got the Drifblim, Cresselia, and Pacharisu as well. So we'll start off with just talking about the sort of anti-Bastiodon. We sort of all know how Bastiodon works in that it's a really tanky Pokemon. It sort of wins a lot of matchups hard and it loses a lot of matchups hard. And against this group in the top, right over there, it's definitely the losing hard variety. So we've got the Toxicroak and Lucario doing the counter damage. You can pretty much well understand it. Mud Slap from Gastrodon really brings it down. Gallade able to get those close combats through, also able to just really chunk that thing down. There is not much that Bastiodon can do against any of these 4. I guess Flamethrower does do an okay amount of damage up against Lucario, but even then Lucario generally going to have the upper hand there, especially with that Power Punch making its counters more and more dangerous, and Bastiodon getting to its charge moves are pretty slow as well. But obviously Bastiodon does have 2 friends there, the Munchlax and the Abomasnow. Munchlax also generally going to lose to that big fighting damage. Obviously it's got that normal typing, so the counter from Toxicroak and Lucario does take it out, and then also the close combat from Gallade takes it out pretty well as well. Gastrodon is generally still going to take that one out, but it is a bit more sort of back and forth here, I guess. The Mud Slap just really nice to sort of make sure things go Gastrodon's way. And then Abomasnow, again, it's got the ice typing, so it is weak to fighting, which is why Toxicroak, Lucario, Gallade generally able to win that one out. But Abomasnow is a much spammier Pokemon than Bastiodon, so it can sort of push it the other way, depending on how the energy and the shielding go. So you have to be a little bit careful, and Gastrodon specifically does not have a good time up against Abomasnow at all. That is one where the arrow isn't quite accurate, and Abomasnow is pretty much always going to be beating that Gastrodon. Really just needs to get a single energy ball through, and it's just GG's. Good night for that Gastrodon. But we'll move over to the bottom left-hand corner with the Frostlass, the Drifblim, the Cresselia, and the Pacharisu. Obviously, we've got some Ghost and Psychic. Ghost and Psychic, probably the 2 typings that are well known for beating the fighting types. Gallade is like a little bit interesting because it does have the Psychic typing as well, but the matchups pretty much stay the same, and it actually makes the Ghost matchups even worse for Gallade. So Drifblim and Frostlass, not Gallade's favorite Pokemon, to say the least. Lucario does have a bit of play against them because it does have the Shadow Ball. So if you can land that Shadow Ball through, it is going to make these things a lot better for you. I think in the Frostlass matchup in particular, Frostlass wins by a single counter. So Lucario gets the final counter it needs to get the Shadow Ball, but unfortunately a Frostlass is at its second Avalanche beforehand, so it does take you out. So if you swap into a Lucario, get 1 counter advantage, you are theoretically going to be able to win that matchup up against Frostlass if they shield a Power Punch and they don't shield the Shadow Ball, then you will be able to take that one out. Even then, I don't think that Lucario is really like the best Pokemon. Like, I kind of prefer Toxicroak as a fighter in this meta. But Lucario certainly does have that play back, whereas Toxicroak doesn't really have as much that it can do. Which, I mean, it is going to mean that some people are going to prefer Lucario. I think Lucario is number 1 on the PvP rankings, so definitely worth considering there. But also Pacharisu is a pretty interesting one. It kind of just is able to get the damage off, I was really, like, I kind of thought, like, okay, Toxicroak is going to be an exception to the rule. It's got Mud Bomb. It's going to take out the electric type Pacharisu. But Pacharisu is actually able to take out the Toxicroak matchup because Thunderbolt does over half of Toxicroak's health, which was pretty mind-blowing for me. I was kind of like, oh, okay then. GG's Pacharisu. It is a really hard one to get because you do want to have it like XL'd all the way. You want that level 50 Pacharisu running around, which can be a little bit painful. So, I still don't have a Pacharisu, so I will not be running it. But Gastrodon is one Pokemon that does sort of fight back in that regard with the big Mud Slaps, pushing that one back. And Glade is a sort of a weird one where, Glade and Gastrodon both not only are beating the Bastiodon, but they're also pretty good up against the other fighting types. So both of them are good against Lucario and Toxicroak. And then Glade actually has that ability to get the Leaf Blades off onto Gastrodon. So Glade is sort of not only the anti-Bastiodon group, doesn't love the Munchlax matchup, but if you can get that close combat through, it's good. But it also is good against the fighters as well, which is something to keep in mind. And we do have Empoleon hanging out there because I didn't quite feel like Abomasnow fit right into the fighting group. It's sort of like, it does beat Bastiodon really well. It does beat Munchlax, I believe. And then also Abomasnow, I think, is a little bit back and forth. It's sort of depending on where the moves and energy sort of go. But I decided to just sort of shift it off to the side a little bit. But it's definitely worth, like, Empoleon is going to be a big Pokemon in this meta. So, you know what? I probably should have just put it with the fighting types. Just imagine it was there the whole time. But with that said, that's kind of all I wanted to say about the Sinnoh Cup. It's a pretty easy one to understand. There's other Pokemon that are running around as well. Drapion, for example, is one that I haven't really put here. How it sort of fits. It sort of fits into the Bastiodon group, where it's generally beating those ghosts, the psychics, loses to the fighting types, especially the ground types with the Gastrodon. So I guess Drapion fits in there, and there's other Pokemon as well. But let me know if there's a Pokemon that I have not included in the graphic that you think is going to be good in the comments. And yeah, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, especially that subscribe one for future Meta Simplified infographics. Thank you to my patrons and supporters over on Twitch as well. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. You can check out some more over there. I'm kind of, well, one of them is going to be covering me up a little bit, but that's all right. Yeah, Silpharina All-Star Invitational coming soon, so hopefully might see some stuff around that, maybe. And good luck in the Sinnoh Cup.